Heels on Wheels, the racing show by female racers, for female racers, about female racers, featuring female racers, with a few surprises thrown in. Heels on Wheels is brought to you by Renew Salon and Spa, Excelsior Racing, and Dragonflies and Nymphs Creation. And now, here are your hosts.
Hey everyone, and thanks for joining us on the Heels on Wheels radio program, brought to you by the Performance Motorsports Network. We are on show 101, and this week is all about going fast and doing some crazy sports. And I know I'm excited to learn a lot more than I know about these two different types of racing we're going to be talking about today. But first, let's check in with the lovely Krista Elise.
Hello.
Lovely, yes, lovely.
Yeah, you really talking to me?
I know, I've called you lovely and classy in the same day.
Wait, what do you want?
Now you're on to my plan.
Hey, girl. All right, yeah, so, we've had a lot going on, actually. Nina, who was on our show last week, just won her championship, her rookie year in points.
Awesomeness.
Yay for Nina. Let's give her a round of applause.
Woo!
And my car's still broken. I don't know.
Aw, damn it. Can we blame it on Charlie?
Huh?
Can we blame it on Charlie?
Of course. It's always Charlie's fault.
Awesome.
When in doubt, it is Charlie's fault.
All right. Well, I had a bit of a cold, rainy, exciting weekend, I guess. The 45th anniversary of my home track, Summit Point Motorsports Park. So Bob and Mike and I were all there, Greg and Eric announcing, and I was doing my, emergency services thing in the cold all weekend. But it was great to be part of that. And, I've been there my entire life, which is half of the amount of years that the track has been around. So it's pretty much my home. But this weekend,
go camping. Just pitch up one of those really cool tents and take your spot. I mean, they have tons of pavilions over there that you could put a couch and a fridge.
Probably. Or maybe I'll just stick with the motorhome with the direct TV and air conditioning and heat. That's probably where I'm gonna.
High class West Virginia living.
All right, this weekend I'm off to play with go-karts, so I'm too afraid to be that close to the ground going that fast, so I'm just going to wait till they stop and go pick them up. But I do want to say thank you to our fans on social media. We've reached 1,600 likes this week on Facebook, and we have a bunch of new likes. All of our numbers are up, and our post that Krista and I were just talking about, us being super classy, I think it's up to 220 likes or something like that, and a bunch of comments, and you guys are great. Thanks for all of your lovely comments. So keep it up. Social media is awesome, and we love it. We're on there all the time.
We have no life is what you really mean.
I wasn't going to say that, but yeah, pretty much. All right, let's get right into our guest lineup tonight. The reason we're all here: international rally driver joining us all the way from New Zealand, Emma Gilmour. And seriously, it's like tomorrow already. She's in New Zealand. And 19-year-old snow crosser from Wisconsin, Merranda Schmid. Snow crossing. I've never heard of it, but it sounds pretty awesome. So I'm really excited to talk to her later. And we also have another great grilling recipe from Tailgate Grillin' with Sizzle and Scotty. And on our racing roundtable tonight, we're talking about technology and social media and the effects it's had on the motorsports and car industries. We've touched on this in a lot of different shows, but we're really going to get the big picture of what social media is doing to us. But for now, let's move right into our racing news. Krista, what's going on in your world?
Man, the women in NHRA were pretty quiet this past weekend at Maple Grove. Courtney and Brittany Force lost in their first round, and now Courtney's down to third place in the overall standing, and her sister is in ninth. Alexis DeJoria is bringing up the rear, though. She's not far behind. I think she's in fifth. Like I said, NMRA, the huge finals were this weekend. If you are a Ford person, you know this series. And Nina Gussler from last week, she actually won her championship, and it was her rookie year, which is, doubly amazing. And then the big news is that the world record was just reset by the same shop for a street Coyote Mustang at a 7.6 Or no. It was like a 7.7 or something in the quarter mile, which is insane for a street car. That's who built my car. I'm not that fast though.
That's crazy.
And one more, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I know that both motorsports and other sports are, bringing this to the forefront. So, ladies, I know it's not just ladies that are affected, but it is a big part. So, just be aware and show some support for that.
And go get your boobies smushed, right?
Yeah, feel them. It's okay to feel your own.
Or have someone else feel them, whatever.
Yeah, that's cool too. If you pay them, apparently it makes it okay.
Oh my god. All right, so let's get into other news other than that. A lot of reports came out this week about Tony Stewart, and will he be getting back into racing, and will he be getting back into a sprint car? Well, there's good and bad news. He will be back racing. He's obviously been part of the NASCAR championship races the last few weeks, but he does not see himself getting into a sprint car anytime soon. It's just too much for him, and it wouldn't be right to the family. So he doesn't think he'll be back in a sprint car anytime soon, if ever, which I'm sure is a big disappointment for a lot of Tony Stewart fans and sprint car fans in general. Also, I know Chris is going to love this one. 2 more recalls for GM last week. This makes a total of 30 million cars in North America that have been recalled this year.
I'm just going to leave it at this. I'm just white growing it right now because I can't even. No spices anymore.
But the recalls are ridiculous. Well, the first one is because the hoods fly open. Really? You can't take care of that. You had one job.
I don't know. Maybe it was that the hurricane going to the tornado dispenser in Colorado or their Silverado, and it just blew the hood right up.
And then this one's pretty funny. Rear suspension nuts not tightened. Someone forgot to tighten their nuts.
Doesn't that scare you though? God bless the workers who put our vehicles together. But, it's the same thing as the fast food issue where they want their minimum wage raised and they can't even count to 10. You really, really have to pay more attention to your job. I know.
Okay. Next. I don't know where to go from here. Okay. Good news. Dover, the, racetrack that NASCAR is at twice a year. One of the biggest events of the year is at Dover. They're continuing to improve their safety at the track in 2015 by installing, I think it's a 25-foot fence, pretty much like all the other NASCAR tracks have. But I like this because they're being proactive instead of reactive. Nothing bad has happened at Dover, but because bad things have happened elsewhere, they're being proactive. So I really like to see that kind of stuff instead of waiting until something happens. And a little bit of a sad story here. Simona Di Silvestro, her road to F1 may have been ended this week. The Swiss team she was testing for cut her out of the deal for financial reasons. So her management is not happy. The Swiss team she was working for apparently doesn't have any money. So Silvestro may not be in an F1 car next season. But her management is trying to work up some other deals. But I think we all know how difficult it must be to get into F1. So
that's a shame. Speaking of F1, the Japan race this past weekend?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Just a little I know about them. That is insane that they still let that race run. Until, 2 crashes, and they were like, oh, geez, maybe this isn't a good idea.
Yeah, and what Chris is talking about, Jules Bianchi, I think is how you pronounce his last name. He's in critical but stable condition after he hit an EMS vehicle on track that was taking care of another accident on the track. I think this just boils down to more safety more precautions need to be taken on the track. And I don't know why such a big piece of equipment was out on the track while the cars were still running. So that to me is a little crazy, but it is critical, but he's stable at the moment. He had to have brain surgery and a lot of other things. So prayers for him and his family.
And also Jesse Combs was just involved in a bike accident. So, we just want to throw a little well wishes out. She's banged up, but she's doing well.
Yeah,
And
she's
she'll be
a
back shortly.
she's a big supporter of the show too, and hopefully we will have her on. Hint, hint, in a couple of weeks, and yeah, our thoughts go out with her as well. Let's see what else. Oh, this is kind of interesting news that it made me think about you, Krista, because IMSA, who is joined up with the United Sports Car Championship, they're going back to radio. All of their events are going to be broadcast over live feed via radio, which these events have been televised in years past, and they're going back to radio. I mean, what do you think about that, Krista?
You know what? Speaking as a racer who is often on the road, I enjoy having the outlet there. I think that they are exploring the notion that not everybody has access to a television, but they think that for the type of fan base they have out there, that it may be pretty lucrative. So I'm for it. I mean, I think radio is an amazing mode of communication because there are so many ways to connect with radio. I mean, we do it online. You can do it on regular radio.
The radio waves.
Yeah, those waves.
Whatever that is.
But
Okay, so more good news. NASCAR racer Clint Boyer and his wife became parents this week, but listen to the name choice. His first choice, he wanted to name his kid Cletus Bocephus, and his wife threw a fit. I wonder why. Okay, but here's the thing. They named their kid Cash Aaron.
I
Cash.
can't again. I'm just suburban white girling it all over the place with this news today.
Cash.
How do you even?
Why would you name your kid? I don't get it.
I feel like I need to go throw a pair of yoga pants and Ugg boots on and go get a pumpkin latte because I don't know anymore.
I don't know either. All right, there's a contest going around. You can take a ride in Austin, Texas with Sebastian Vettel by posting your best race face to Twitter or Instagram using the hashtag #InfinityRaceFace. You're supposed to take a picture of what your face would look like at an F1 car at speed. So that's going on right now if you want to look it up on Twitter and Instagram.
I am extremely intrigued by that, but also just as scared.
All right, upcoming this week, Formula One is in Russia. The Woodbridge Kart Club National at Summit Point Motorsports Park. I'll be there all weekend. NASCAR, the second race of the contender round at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And next week, there is literally nothing but NASCAR on my schedule, and it's depressing. But they're at Talladega, so if you want to watch that, you can catch that. You know what else, Krista? Halloween's coming in the next couple of weeks. What's your costume?
I want to be Danica Patrick so I can be a loser.
Oh my gosh. I think I'm going to go with the trend and be like a slutty duck or something.
You know what? Charlie made a good point. Our technician / video guy, Charlie, who knows everything. So we're renaming our street. We're moving to a house. Everybody's seen. We're building the epic garage with a house attached, and we're renaming the street Victory Lane. So I can dress up as Danica and hand out candy on Victory Lane. People feel like a loser on Victory Lane. It's ironic.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, that is all we have for racing news this week. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right, it's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette, it's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes, on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
If you're a gearhead, you probably go online to those hot rod superstores, drooling over the chrome and speed goodies until you find just the right item for your muscle car, tuner car, truck. But what do you do when it comes to fixing the mom mobile? If you're like most do-it-yourselfers, you head to the strip mall parts store and talk to the "Do you want fries with that?" kid behind the counter. Hold on, Bunky. Did you stop to think where those chain stores are getting the parts that you're installing in the vehicle that's used to transport your family everywhere? They get the cheapest suppliers they can find to sell you the parts at bargain prices. Their limited lifetime warranties? What a joke. Remember the last time Mom's car broke down? You heard about that one for weeks. Don't take that chance again. Excelsior Racing has the quality parts you need for your family vehicle. Parts that you can install knowing you're getting the best for your family. Excelsior Racing. Quality parts, personalized service, affordable pricing, fast to you direct. Excelsior Racing. Online at excelsiorracing.com or call 502-909-2034.
Hi, this is Sugarland here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. Music is one of the most important things in our lives, but nothing is more important than life itself. Music lives, and so should you. Please plan ahead. Designate before you celebrate.
Friends don't let friends
Drive drunk.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
You want fast women? Well, we got them right here.
Hey, baby.
Well, all right.
No, not that kind of fast. Yeah, that kind. Now back to Heels on Wheels on the PerformanceMotorsportsNetwork.com.
And we're back with Heels on Wheels on the Performance Motorsports Network. Our first guest is on the phone with us, and it's already tomorrow morning there, so maybe she can give us a little hint on all the dirt that's going to happen tomorrow. What do you think? All right. I'm happy to introduce the international rally driver all the way from New Zealand, Miss Emma Gilmour. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Thank you.
Well, thanks for being on the show with us. It's a pleasure to have you. You've been doing rally for many years now, all around the globe. Can you tell us a little bit of your background and how you got started?
Yeah, I started in rally driving quite late compared to some of my competitors. I'd done horse riding all through my teenage years, and then I'd done the navigating in the rally driver's seat, and then had a go at driving when I was in my early 20s, and I was hooked. I've always loved driving, but as soon as I had a go at driving on gravel, I was just on the dirt. I was just in love. So I've been very lucky to rally all around the world, mainly in New Zealand, but also in Europe and Asia, and then this year doing the rallycross.
That's awesome. So you just mentioned something that I wanted to bring up later. Is there a difference between racing on gravel and racing on just straight dirt, or are they kind of mixed sometimes?
Generally, I suppose I always talked about it as being gravel, but I think in America more people refer to it as being dirt, but I sort of think of it as being the same. In saying that, I suppose like speedway racing, that's on proper dirt. So the gravel is more related to, I suppose, roads that you might race on versus, dirt on a track, perhaps. Is that confusing?
Now, do they make you run your races in all sorts of weather conditions, kind of like F1 does?
Yes. So rallying, you're totally just at the mercy of the weather. Generally, it runs as a winter sport. So quite often, it'll be cold or wet. You might get snow or hail.
You've traveled, all around the world, like you just said, and some of the races you've done this year are in the United States. Do you see a difference between the U.S. tracks and the tracks overseas and in New Zealand?
So the racing I'm doing in America is something I'd never done before, which is the rallycross style of racing. So that's where it's a track purpose-built and you're racing against other cars versus what I've largely done, which is rally driving, where it's stage rallying. So you're on roads out, in the communities or in the village or the countryside, where it's just the driver and the co-driver and one car on a road at a time. So quite a different type of racing.
You mentioned the co-driver or, earlier the navigator, and that you have done both. Which one do you enjoy doing more? I know both are equally pretty difficult.
Yeah, they're definitely both specialised roles. I really enjoyed the navigating when that was how I started. But now that I've been a driver, there's no way I could go back to being a navigator. It's just, I find it really scary.
So can you kind of explain the difference? Well, maybe not the difference, because I think everyone can see that, one's the driver and one's the navigator. But can you kind of explain what the navigator does for some of us that don't follow rally?
Sure. So the navigator is a hugely important part of the rally team. So they basically have the instructions of where the driver where they're going to go. So they have a road book which involves, because with rallying you drive on an ordinary road to get to the start of the stages. So you have to follow the road rules and all of that in your rally car, but you're driving as part of ordinary traffic. So they have a road book that gets you to the start of the stage, and they need to make sure that you're on time, because everything's you have to clock in on time. And so they're sort of your office manager for the car, so to speak. And then once you're actually at speed on the stages, they call the description of the course back to the driver. So the driver has decided has written the notes, so to speak, but the co-driver has to write that in shorthand and then be able to deliver it back at the right timing, so they know what's coming up on the road ahead.
So how difficult is it to drive on the regular street following the rules after you've just gone, way over the speed limit and done things that you're never allowed to do on the road?
Good question. It's actually, I find it almost easier in some ways, because it's sort of like you've got a speed fix in terms of you've let loose and then you've got to be good again. So and having raced on rally stages and had some big accidents, you know how vulnerable you are in a motor car. So you sort of you want to not speed on the open road when you've got oncoming traffic and all those things. So it's sort of a safe environment, so to speak, when we're racing.
Okay, so I just had to throw this out there before we get too off topic with this. She spoke about reading maps as a navigator, so can we just use that as extra motivation for these kids nowadays to stop using GPS on their phones and learn how to read a map? I have to.
Perhaps.
Yeah, that definitely brings up a good point, though. People are still using maps and the shorthand type of navigating to do racing, but we're way out of that realm now with all the technology we have. So it brings up a good point. So road racing, in road racing, momentum and drafting are the most key things that you have to learn how to do to be competitive. What are those most important things that you have to learn in rally?
There's still the basic car control skills, probably like what you talked to with the road racing. But on top of that, I suppose there's more variables in rallying, because with the roads that we'll do and drive over, there could be 1,000 different corners, and the surface isn't going to be the same in every one of them. So there's more variables. So you sort of have to be adaptable for the changing conditions. The flip side of that is that you probably have a little bit of more of a margin, versus on a road race where the grip levels of the corner, you have to be 100% committed to that corner the next time you come around, because you know exactly what it is. So it sort of requires a sort of different level of driving. And then with rallying, you have the added challenge of the relationship with the navigator and making sure that your pace notes are 100% accurate and that you can drive to them 100% committed, because if your pace notes are no good, then you'll be lifting over a blind crest when your competitor will be going flat over it. So it's really important part of the challenge as well.
So as a driver, how involved are you with setting up the technical details of your race car before the race?
It's so important, the driver having a good relationship with their mechanic and engineer on the car, because when you start out, it's possibly not as important, but the further the better you get. The difference between you and your competitor is really what you're getting out of the car. So you have to be able to give good feedback on what your car's doing and how it's handling to your engineer, so they can use their skills to change the car to best suit your driving style. So it's something that I never appreciated when I first started driving. I just thought if you were fast, you'd win. But the team around you is so important to being competitive.
That's a good point. So what other roles do they have on your, mechanics team or technical team? What are the main positions?
Yeah, so generally a team works in that you have a sort of a head mechanic engineer who looks after your car, and they'll have a good understanding of physics and car setup. So there's so many things that are variable on a race car, and you wouldn't believe the difference it makes in the way the car handles. So, suspension is adjustable, and then there's wheel alignments and how that's set up, and then ride heights with the car, and then differentials and how they're set. So there's so many different things that can be adjusted. And so, as you get into a more advanced team, all you have to do as a driver is focus on your driving and then giving the feedback to the engineer. The engineer then generally, he'll also work on the car, but he'll also have mechanics as well that do sort of the lead work on the car. So they'll make the changes, but also they always do the spanner checks because the cars are under such stressed conditions. They'll always make sure that things are tight and talk to the correct measurements.
I think that's what a lot of people that want to get into racing need to realize, is that it's not just you behind the car, it's your entire team. That's a really, really good point.
Absolutely.
So you've been racing rally and rallycross now for so long. Would you ever think about doing any other type of racing?
I love driving, and any opportunity I really would love to have a go at off-road truck racing. I think that would be a huge amount of fun. And I look at those longer endurance events like Baja or something. I think that would be amazing fun. So as long as it involves a car and going fast, I'd love to have a go.
That's awesome. I love that attitude. As long as it's got wheels and it goes fast, we're good.
Yep. Pretty much.
I want to give you a minute here to talk about your sponsors and where we can find you on social media, because marketing yourself, and we've been trying to get this across the last few shows, that marketing yourself and putting yourself out there are really what gets you somewhere in the world nowadays. I mean, you have to be attached to social media. So go ahead and give your sponsors a shout out and tell us where we can find you on social media.
Great, thank you. So I really thank Hyundai America this year for giving me the opportunity in the Red Bull Global Rallycross Series, and also Reese Millen Racing back here in New Zealand. Big thank you to Vantage Aluminium Joinery that have been my long-term sponsor, and also Suzuki, who sponsor my rally program here in New Zealand. I'm definitely a bit of a novice when it comes to the social media, so I'm happy to receive tips on that. But you can find me on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. I think Ems Gilmour is my Instagram account, and Emma Rallying is Twitter.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on with us today, and good luck with everything you're doing. I'm really interested in this rallycross after talking to you, so I'm going to have to get more details on that. But thanks again.
Right. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. This has been Taylor Hyatt and Krista Elise for Heels on Wheels. We'll be right back after a short break from our sponsors.
Shopping around for your racing gear, driving from store to store only to find they don't have what you want? Barter's Racing Collectibles on Black Gap Road in Fayetteville, Pennsylvania has it all. The hottest NASCAR, IRL, and NHRA diecasts, t-shirts, jackets, flags, and more. Everything racing. Stop by or check out their website, www.farnersracing.com, or call 717-352-2782. You'll be surprised at the selection, prices, and friendly client service. UPS, FedEx, and USPS shipping available. Farners Racing Collectibles, www.farnersracing.com, or call 717-352-2787. Farners Racing Collectibles, where racing comes alive.
Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Learn how at www.ready.gov. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.
Ever hire, never quit. Lofty goals in this age of shoddy quality, corporate indifference, and built-in obsolescence. It's a beacon of light in a crowded field of mediocrity. The way a company is run is an indication of how you, the customer, is going to be treated. You have a lot of choices when you're searching for auto and performance parts online and at the corner parts store. So why should you buy from Excelsior Racing? Because they're simply the best online parts supplier in the business. If you're looking for selection, ease of ordering, cost, and prompt delivery, look no further. If you have a question, our customer service hotline, staffed by knowledgeable gearheads like you, will ensure that you get what you need to fix or mod your car or truck. With 1,000 suppliers, you're guaranteed to get what you need. First time, every time. Excelsior Racing. Excellence on the track. Excellence on the road. Excellence in customer service. Online at excelsiorracing.com or call 502-909-2034.
Y'all ready for this?
Hey, you got a problem with women drivers? Well, these ladies will run circles around you and most of your friends. Now, back to Heels on Wheels on the PerformanceMotorsportsNetwork.com.
And up next, we have 19-year-old snowcrosser from Wisconsin. Merranda Schmid is here with us to talk a little bit about something I personally don't think I could ever do, which is snowcross. So why don't you tell us how you got involved in doing snowcross in the first place?
Okay. Sorry, I'm so nervous, but
It's
yeah,
okay.
I got into racing when my dad bought me a little kitty cat snowmobile for me and my brother. And I seemed to be the only one that was interested in it. So then my dad decided to buy me not motocross gear, snowcross gear. And he made me go racing, little kid races when I was 8. And it was really fun. So I've been doing it ever since.
Okay, so, I've watched autocross, I've watched motocross, I've watched some other crosses. So how do they set your track up for snowcross? I mean, where does this happen?
When you go skiing, they use those huge groomers. So they use that to build up the jumps or bulldozers. So, every couple races, they would take the groomer and reshape all the jumps because it's snow, so it's going to, act like sand.
Yeah, so, some snow is soft, and, some of it has a little bit of ice on there, but what do they do as far as safety equipment for you guys?
Oh, geez, it's so strict. You wouldn't believe it. We have to wear tech vests, which can be used for trail riding, and, yeah, that kind of thing. And we have to wear knee braces or shin guards for, hockey, and neck braces are optional. And then helmets are mandatory, but mine has a airbag in it, so if I hurt my neck, you just fill up this airbag and it takes off my helmet, so that's optional, and that's about it.
Wow.
You're talking about all this, which is pretty amazing, because it's not like cars where you can put a cage around it, So,
Yeah.
Do injuries happen a lot on the snowcross course?
Oh, yeah, all the time. My team member that I raced with, he tore his ACL last year, and then the year before that, I tore my MCL. And, everyone's just it's usually with knees that people get hurt, stuff like that.
That's, it looks very dangerous just from looking at videos and pictures and stuff like that. What is it that draws you to want to do something that's so dangerous?
Well, first, I'm terrible at school sports, so I had to find something to do. So, this is, really exciting, and, it's kind of cool that not that many people can do it. So, I just, I don't know, it's just fun, and, people admire you for being brave, but it's just fun. It's not too scary.
I think it's pretty awesome that, Krista and I, our seasons are pretty much over. Krista's a drag racer, so her season is pretty much done. I'm more into the road racing, so once the cold weather and snow gets here, we're done for the season. We don't race in the snow most of the time, but, right when our seasons are ending, yours is kicking up, and I think your first event takes place in November, correct?
Oh, yeah. It's, I think it's a Friday after Thanksgiving, so I miss Thanksgiving all the time.
Oh, my goodness. So, tell us about your season and what goes on during the season that you have to prepare for.
Okay. Well, usually I get off of school early on Fridays. We usually travel 5 hours, usually to where we're going. check in at the hotel, and then the next morning would wake up at like 6, drive to the track, get set up, and then race for the whole day, get back at like, like dinner time, I think, and then wake up early the next morning and go home.
What does your technical team look like? I mean, do you have anybody that helps you as a pit crew every race, or do you kind of do it yourself?
Oh, well, our race team's MBM Racing, so it's kind of like two families, like me and my dad, and then my dad's friend and his 2 sons race. So both our dads are the mechanics, and then I have my boyfriend Dylan. He's pretty much one of our other mechanics. He kind of just does everyone's sleds, and he does like all the random people that if they need stuff on their sled done, he does it too. He's just nice like that.
So, in motorsports racing, when you're racing cars, you can do pretty much anything you want to do to your car depending on what class you're running. Is there a lot of differences between the snowmobiles that you're competing against?
Like the regulations for them?
Just what kind of specs they have. Can they do things to make theirs go faster that you may not have the ability to do, or can you modify your snowmobiles?
Oh, yeah. Usually every year I get a clutch kit from I don't know where it's from. My dad is in charge of that, but we get a clutch kit, we get carbides, get a lot of studs because of the icy tracks. Because I get really cold, so I got like these supercharged hand warmers that are really funny, but I got those, and that's pretty much all you do for the the factory race sleds. Pretty much come all like set up already.
Okay, I have to tell you that if I were doing this, I would be dressed in that Christmas Story bunny suit and an epic carpet because me and the cold, being a Jersey girl, just do not get along. So I guess my question was, can you do this professionally if you excel enough in your league now?
Oh, okay. It's pretty much really rare, but the girl that's winning points last year, she pretty much has a full ride, like gets to go on, she's from Sweden, I'm pretty sure, and so she comes from Sweden, and they pay for that, and she has a whole race team, but usually the women's class, you can't make a profession out of it. Maybe the pro guys, if they're lucky, but yeah, it's really rare if it happened to a girl.
So do they separate your classes by male and female when you're racing, or do you all race together?
Well, okay, from like zero, well, like not zero, when you're really young to like when you're about 16, you have to race with boys in like juniors and junior class and stuff like that. But then when you reach 16, you can go in the pro women class, and that's pretty much the highest you'll ever get. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, you just race until then, and then there's only a separate women class for pro.
So up until, and this goes back to Krista's question, up until a couple of years ago, snowcross was part of the X Games every year. But in the last couple of years, they've taken that out of the X Games. What are your thoughts about that?
I think it's so lame. Like, I love snowcross, and like, what's more winter X Games than racing snowmobiles? Like, but yeah, I think they should have a women's X Games and snowcross. By the way, but but yeah, I think it's just, I know I'll come back. Like, who can take away snowcross for that long?
Yeah, I mean, and to that point, do you think that they took it out because it wasn't popular, or they weren't getting enough competitors in the group, or any thoughts on that?
Okay, yeah, like, first of all, it's like super expensive to make all the snow, and the ratio of like the money to how many people show up because they don't like the weather most of the time. So like it's just expensive considering like not that many people show up. I think that's what it is.
Oh, that makes sense. I didn't even
yeah.
think about that.
I want to touch on one point you just made. They have to make all of this snow. Can the racers feel a difference when they're racing depending on if it's artificial snow or if it's natural snow that's fallen on the ground? Can you tell the difference when you're racing?
Oh yeah, totally. Like when artificial snow gets ground up, it's like sugar. It doesn't stay its shape. Then if it was natural, and when you get roosted, like snow flies up in your face. Mm-hmm. It tastes so gross. The artificial one, it tastes like gasoline. Nasty.
Oh my goodness. I would never even thought about that part. But yeah, I mean, it's artificial, so I'm sure it doesn't taste like the snow cones we make as a kid.
I mean, hey, they get to, taste gasoline snow. We get to sniff high-octane race gas. So I think we're even on that one.
So, Miranda, what are your goals for this season?
Oh, I would love to be at top 3 in points for national points, but that's going to be pretty tough since I'm in college. But last year I was 4th in points by, like, a little bit. Like, I just got the 4th, and it was really sad. But I'm going to try for top 3.
Sounds like a good goal to work towards. I want to give you a second here to mention your sponsors and anyone you would like to thank.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank Arctic Cat, most of all, for giving me the race sled, Pro Motorsports, US Chrome, my dad, my boyfriend Dylan, all my family, the Wilbert family. Oh boy, I hadn't even thought about my sponsors. Oh man. Okay. Truck and Auto Elegance, and that's all I can think of right now. Thank you.
I'm sure they all know how much you appreciate them. And we can follow you on social media, correct?
Yeah. And
where can we find you there?
Yeah. Well, all I have is Facebook, so Merranda Schmid. So that's Merranda, and then Schmid. Kind of goofy, but it works.
All right. Well, it's been great talking with you, and we wish you the best of luck this season, and we'll be watching out for you. So hopefully you get that 3rd place this year.
All right, thanks.
All right. This has been Taylor Hyatt and Krista Elise for Heels on Wheels. We'll be right back after a short break.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
Enter America's #1 dream car giveaway contest at winyournewcar.com. That's right, winyournewcar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free delivered to your door. Come on, stop dreaming and start driving with winyournewcar.com.
Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Learn how at www.ready.gov. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.
Motorsports sales professionals. Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated's Performance Motorsports Network is looking to build a team of experienced media sales professionals to represent our motorsports programming to the industry's top companies, magazines, and racing series. If you have motorsports sales or marketing experience, know how to work with agencies, understand social media, and are incredibly creative when it comes to working with clients and promotions, then we want to hear from you. Top performers are richly rewarded. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444 or email Sue at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. That's 717-749-0444 or email Sue at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, I'm Melissa Etheridge for RAD, Recording Artist Against Drunk Driving. Your lifestyle is your business, but when you drive drunk, you become everyone's business. Don't drink and drive. Be responsible. Choose a designated driver. Music lives, and so should you. Please, don't drink and drive.
This is Heels on Wheels on the PerformanceMotorsportsNetwork.com. Now, back to the fastest ladies on 2 wheels.
All right, and it's that time of the show. We're going to listen to another great grilling recipe from Tailgate Grillin' with Sizzlin' Scotty. So hold on, get your pen and pencil so you can write this down. Your pen and pencil and paper. I guess you'll need paper probably. All right, here's Scotty.
Taylor, thank you so much. And yes, this is Sizzlin' Scotty with some more great tailgate recipes for the blacktop. And today, when we start to get into the fall, we start to think about things that are warm. We start to do soups and chili, and a great thing is some dips. And today I've got a great warm artichoke and bacon dip for you that served with fresh pita chips. And this is the kind of recipe that will warm you up, and it's really nice and tasty, and again, something handheld so you can dip that pita chip in there and get yourself a big bit of dip and enjoy it. Give you the ingredients list here. It's really easy and really simple, and why go out and spend money for a bag of pita chips when you can make your own, and they're really, really simple and really easy. The ingredients list for the pita chips really is simple. In 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. We're going to use 4 to 6 pita breads, 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, and a teaspoon of kosher salt. And for the pita chips, you're going to place an oven rack in the center of the oven, preheat the oven to about 400 degrees. In a small bowl, we're going to combine the chili powder and the cumin. And you can actually really put just about any rub that you want, but the chili powder and the cumin really give it a nice southwestern kind of taste to it. We're going to drizzle the tops of the pita bread with the oil and sprinkle the spice mixture on with the salt. Cut each chip into 8 to 10 wedges. Lay it out on the baking sheet and bake until crisp and golden brown, which is going to be about 10 minutes. Now for the dip, we'll give you the ingredients list for this. Again, really easy. We're gonna have some butter, and that's just gonna be for greasing the glass dish that we're gonna make the dip in. 5 strips of thick cut bacon, 1 teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil, 2 shallots, which are gonna be chopped up nice and fine, 2 cloves of garlic minced up nice and fine, 1 8-ounce bag of frozen artichokes, and you're gonna thaw those out. 1 teaspoon of kosher, 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt, and along with that, we're going to have 1/2 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper, 2 cups or 16 ounces of mascarpone cheese, 1/3 cup of sour cream, 1/4 cup of mayonnaise, and 1/4 cup of fresh lemon juice, and that's from 1 large lemon. And now what we're going to do for the dip is we're going to preheat the oven to about 400 degrees, and we're going to butter a 9-inch round ceramic deep dish pie pan or a 1-quart baking dish. You choose. We're going to place a large skillet over medium heat and add the oil and the bacon and cook until crispy, and that's about 8 minutes. Remove the bacon and drain it on some paper towel. When cool enough to handle, crumble it up into 1/2-inch pieces, set that aside. Now on the same skillet, add some butter if you need to, or you might have enough bacon grease in there that you can just use that. Add the shallots, the garlic, the artichokes, 1/2 teaspoon of salt and pepper, and cook over medium-high heat until the shallots and are translucent and the artichokes begin to brown a bit, and that's about 8 minutes. And we're going to transfer the vegetables into a food processor. We're going to add the mascarpone cheese, the sour cream, the mayonnaise, and the lemon juice, and 1/2 of the cooked bacon, and about one teaspoon of salt. And we're going to pulse to combine that until chunky. Place the dip into the baking dish, sprinkle on the top with the remaining bacon, and bake until warm through. You don't want that bacon to boil, or you don't want the dip to boil though. You just want to warm it through. And that's going to be about 10 minutes. You want to keep an eye on that. And you can serve that nice and warm if you take it right to the tailgate. You can warm it up on the grill on indirect heat and serve that up with the chips. This is great with a nice ice cold beer or a nice glass of white wine. And this will definitely add some nice flavor to your tailgate. Now, this weekend, Taylor, we've got a big party for the Buffalo Bills game against the New England Patriots, and we're going to do a big old style New England clam bake. And one tip out there for our listeners, if you ever want to cook large quantities of corn fast, what you can do is boil a good bit of water and fill that up into a cooler and add in your shucked corn into the cooler, shut the lid, wait 30 minutes, and in 30 minutes you'll come back to a cooler full of cooked corn ready to go for your, like we're going to have a clam bake. That's our recipe for this week, and I hope you like it. We are definitely going to always enjoy it. You can find this recipe and all of our other recipes on our Facebook page, which is Tailgate Grillin' with Sizzle and Scotty. Give us a like or leave a comment for what you'd like to hear in a future show. Taylor, back to you.
Thanks so much, Scotty. And, I've tried that corn on the cob recipe, or trick, I guess you could call it, and it actually works. So believe him, it really does work. And it was really good and really easy. So thanks for that, Scotty. A great recipe once again. Next up is our round table. And Krista, I think I'm going to let you take it from here since this was your idea.
Yeah, but my ideas are never good.
They're wonderful.
Yeah, you just want me to talk and lose my voice because I'm getting sticky pants.
I'm sorry. You shouldn't have been making out with me.
Oh, yeah, but we had such a good birthday. Didn't we?
Anyway, back to the show.
Okay. So our discussion question, I frequent social media, as do we all, because we are media, and we're on the radio. And one of the things I noticed getting involved in crap talking with some keyboard cowboys on some Facebook forums was that, we grew up on forums as racers years ago, and they're still around, but I see a blatant transition to the popularity of Facebook groups being used as forums now because of how versatile they are. So let's get to the question so I can stop talking. The discussion question for tonight was, how has social media and globalization caused by information technology changed the automotive industry?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. When I think about this question, I think of like car buying and how easy it's become because you can research your car online before you buy it. You can pretty much personalize everything about the car that you want. And you don't have to go to 5 different dealerships to try to figure out what car you want. Before you walk in the dealership, it's there. And 50% of people, and this is a true statement, 50% of people would actually buy their car online, like make the monetary transaction online if they could. I don't know that I'd go that far. I still probably want to see the car in person first. But all of that has become based on the internet and everything else. Social media, I think for a lot of people, it's good. You can get on there, you can find out things about your car that you might not know. You can find out a lot of ways to modify your car, and you can YouTube pretty much anything and figure out how to do it. I'm not saying that's always a good thing because a lot of people read too much into that and try to do it themselves when maybe they really can't.
The interwebs never lies.
It's always true. He's a French model.
So let me give you some feedback here. We had some really, really good, insightful fan feedback this week. Okay, so to your point, Anthony Urban says it makes it easier for companies to show off their products and builds instead of waiting for major articles or magazines or major shows, especially small businesses that are just starting out who don't, regularly have the money for advertisement.
Very true.
And then there were, a few negative ones about the dilution of social or of media in general. Everybody.
Blah, blah, blah. Move on.
So anyway.
Okay, I have to stop you for a second because I think Anthony had a point there because what happens the first time you go and you Google the new car that you want? You get on Facebook the next time and what happens? that ad is the first one you see when you get on Facebook. All over the place, you're seeing ads for Subaru or Volkswagen or, you know, whatever you're trying to buy, Ford. You're seeing those ads now on your Facebook because they're tracking your Google account.
Yeah, targeted marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, at the grassroots racer level, you know, take it from what I'm doing, for example. I'm being built by one of the best Mustang shops in the country, and I never would have known about them if it wasn't for the internet. I don't ever see their accomplishments written up in newspapers, you know.
What's that?
You know, what are this? It's that thing I used to start my fire.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
But it was the internet, and, you know, partially it was magazines, but, I mean, most of their recent accomplishments, it goes straight to the internet.
So I
mean, that's a small business who otherwise, you know, they're getting targeted marketing out of the internet.
So I know your focus was more on the car forums versus now these car groups on the internet. What are your thoughts about that?
You know, I've seen good and bad from a user's perspective. From a platform perspective, it's way more versatile. It's immediate gratification. It allows for a more real-time interactive conversation because there are less steps required. You get instant notifications and things like that. It's less organized. It's more difficult to find things on, you know, Facebook group forums as opposed to finding good tech articles that are posted on SVT Performance, for example, does a great job of it. So I think that they both have their niche.
Do you think being on Facebook groups and such things like that, do you think it's more negative or more positive feedback than forums? Because those forums can get a little rowdy.
You know what? It depends on the moderators, but it does allow for a broader base for negativity. And, you know, just what Bob typed to us, there are a lot of, quote, haters, you know, spreading their hater tots and their haterade everywhere. It's a lot of negativity, a lot. It's very difficult to control it on Facebook.
I think you have maybe an easier way to control it, though, because you can block people on Facebook, whereas, you know, most people don't have multiple Facebook accounts, whereas, you know, on a forum, you can just log in as a guest and continue your little rant. So,
well, you know what, I'm going to disagree with you on that one, because I used to moderate forums, and it's very easy to turn that off, or to turn the thing on so guests can't post. Actually, most of them do it now to moderate that.
Interesting. Guess I shouldn't open my mouth when I don't know what I'm talking about, huh?
I see what you did there.
You know, I don't know. I think social media is a good thing for the car industry, just because it's an easier way for people to talk about what they're doing, what they're seeing, what they need, and what feedback they want from other people that are going through the same issues as they are.
So I'm going to throw two things out there. You know, Bob just typed, and he's completely right. It empowers people through anonymity. Okay? So, and on a positive note, though, you know, it allows for more competition in the arena. So, you know, I think it should promote brushing up on your skills. You know, whereas before, when you were competing against 5 people instead of 50, you know, you didn't have to be as good at what you did.
That's very true. My final thoughts here, I think social media and the internet can do a lot more than what it's doing for the car industry, but I think they're making good strides, and I think it's helping, like you said, a lot of small businesses out just to get the word out there.
And I'm going to have a final thought is, you know that the phrase user error, it is what you make of it. And, you know, all bias aside, it really is.
It is. I agree. All right. That is a wrap for this week's edition of the Heels on Wheels radio program. We'll be back next week with even more amazing guests. Thanks to our guests this week, international rally driver Emma Gilmour and snowcrosser Merranda Schmid. For more tailgating recipes, like Chef Sizzle and Scotty's Facebook page, facebook.com/tailgategrillin with Sizzle and Scotty. You can follow us on Twitter at PMN Heels Wheels and like us on Facebook. Heels on Wheels radio program. Our hosts have been Krista Elise and myself, Taylor Hyatt. And of course, thanks to the guy behind the boards, Mr. Bob Steele, always the man behind the boards, doing his thing. We love him. Thanks for listening. Now let's go racing.
Heels on Wheels is a copyrighted production of www.performancemotorsportsnetwork.com, a member of the Scorpion Radio Group, Incorporated, and may not be rebroadcast, replicated, or saved in any media without the explicit written permission of PMN. Check out our Facebook page, Heels on Wheels Radio Show, or our section on the PMN website. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect those of the management and ownership of either PMN or Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated. Be listening next week as the fastest women on the planet rev it up and talk racing.
My heart starts pumping, baby, when